Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Sherwin and today I'll be talking about one of my favorite product in Singapore property market, and that is executive condo. This particular executive condo which I'm going to talk about is launching from 6th of December all the way to 21st December, and no price for guessing it correct. It is actually Coastal Cabana and it is located at Pasir Ris. Okay, no more 废话, let's dive into it. Short and sweet, this is my table of content. I'll be going through 3 likes and 3 dislikes for this project itself to not bore you. So if my dislike is the same as your dislike, you can skip this video entirely lah. Followed by some facts of the project, then location, and whether the entry price is justifiable, and do you have a clear exit strategy for this executive condo. Lastly, the floor plan, and to conclude everything at the end of the video. Okay, my 3 likes for this project itself. Firstly is the entry price of this executive condo. It might as well be one of the cheapest executive condo launch for the year itself and for the upcoming years down the road. As you know, Woodlands, their break-even price for their EC is 1006 PSF already. So in the future, it will be no surprise that executive condo will be launching close to 1009 to 2000 PSF lah. Okay, so entry price is very attractive and something that I do like. Secondly is the view, because it's so close to Pasir Ris beach, right? You do have units facing the sea and the view would be amazing, because I think the last comparable would be Sea Horizon, but even Sea Horizon do not get a full sea view. It's more of a tilted angle. And lastly, if you have not watched all my previous video on why if you should and if you are eligible you should get an EC, right? Because it is a no-brainer. I'll put a link to my previous video here, and if you really do qualify or don't know whether you qualify or not, do reach out to me, because buying an executive condo in the whole, right, regardless of the area, the entry price, the transformation, right, will most likely guarantee you profit 99.999%. okay, was water. Okay, moving on, my 3 dislike. The first would be the location itself. It is not in a very accessible area, almost at one far end of Singapore, and on top of that, right, there is no MRT within walking distance. So the location itself can be quite a discount if you are not someone used to staying in Pasir Ris. Secondly, it's a double-edged sword. You have a very nice sea view, but not all the units enjoy that sea view. Sadly, only 8 stacks do enjoy that view, and if you were to see the site plan, which I'll show you later on, right, most of the units are actually facing inwards and you don't get much of a view other than facilities or facing your neighbors, and the distance between you and your neighbors is quite close, approximately around 20 meters lah. So for those that really value your privacy, the inner facing might not be the ones for you. Definitely not for me lah, because I prefer something unblocked regardless of how noisy it is. And lastly would be the exit strategy for Coastal Cabana, because as we all know, right, there are 3 ECs that are launching almost about the same time period. The first, which has already been launched, is Oriole of Tampines. This is the second one, Coastal Cabana, and lastly will be another one at Tampines, which is Revel, launching start of next year. Out of these 3, right, they'll most likely MOP around or within the same time period. And if you notice, right, the starting price for all these 3 EC would most likely be the same as well. Given all factors being the same, right, Tampines would be a more sought after area because of its accessibility, and the 2 ECs that I mentioned in Tampines itself, actually it's more convenient because it's within walking distance to an MRT station. So the competition when they MOP, if people are considering resale EC, right, these 2 will be the top of the list, followed by Coastal Cabana. So it's slightly weaker in that sense lah. On top of that, there are no good schools within 1 km. And lastly, some of the unit type or floor plans, the layout efficiency is not the most ideal, or it's not the most efficient. So when it comes to resale market, all these factors might affect your price and your how easy it is to sell lah. Okay, so these are my 3 likes and dislikes. And if you want more facts and figures, do watch on. Okay, some facts about the project. Developer is Pasir Ris Development Private Limited lah. Land size is pretty huge. I would say one of the biggest land size compared to the neighboring resale EC, okay, around 28,000 square meters. So they are building a total of 748 units. Highest floor is, I believe, 12 stories. The expected vacant possession date will be 2029 March 31st. So end of first quarter 2029 lah, okay. Nothing fancy. All the other infos is here. So one thing interesting is because it is a very big area, you actually have one-to-one parking, which is very rare nowadays, because if you go to areas like CCR, RCR, or even some OCR projects, right, they seldom give one-to-one parking anymore. And because it's a huge plot of land, so the developer is not stingy on that. Okay, so not too bad. If you can see, these are more facts of the project itself. One thing you will notice straight away is something which I mentioned about the view and the distance proximity within blocks to blocks. So all this facing here, you would have unblocked sea view, because the ones in front of you are low rise. So I would say safe to say you need to have at least like 5th or 6th story to clear all the buildings in front of you lah. So this 8 stack would most likely be the most expensive, and if you notice, right, all the bigger units, more premium units are facing towards that direction. Okay, on top of that, one thing good is they are direct north-south orientation, so you do not have any afternoon sun for the unit. Okay, but if you see the proximity within the block, it's not the widest. If you don't hear, you can still live with it with some day curtain to ensure privacy, but personal preference, me particularly, I don't like it. I hope they would stagger it, but cannot hear too much because the price is really very attractive. Okay, if I did not mention, the price for 3 bedroom is starting from 1.4x million, and for the 4 bedroom is around 1.6x million. And if you would notice how the developer plan their unit, right, the majority of the unit type is focused at the 3 bedroom. Okay, so it makes the entry price very, very affordable. And one thing that they do have is the 5 bedroom premium as well. So if you are looking to own stay for the longest time period, 5 bedroom is something that you will want to consider lah. And this is where they are actually located, away from the road over here with an unblocked view. Okay, so not a lot of unit, make up around only 3% of the total unit. They do not have any 2 bedroom, which is quite common nowadays. Most of the EC, they start building from the 3 bedder onwards to focus more on own stay lah. Facilities wise, full condo facilities. You have quite a number of pools over here. This is a lap pool, this is a lap pool, and you have a tennis court or a multi-purpose court right smack in the middle lah. So this project itself is really quite huge. Okay, all these are just some of the artist's impression of the executive condo lah. Moving on towards the location, where is it located? This is Jalan Loyang Besar EC. If you are not familiar with this, right, at least you'll be familiar with Downtown East. Okay, Downtown is over here lah. So you have your Wild Wild Wet and everything. Not short of amenities, maybe just accessibility. Okay, so we are still within quite a developed neighborhoods. And an interesting point is the last EC that was built and sold, right, is Sea Horizon, and that is almost 10 years ago already. So for people staying in Pasir Ris for the longest time, this might be something that you might be looking forward to lah. Okay, so it is within walking distance. You have all your FairPrice, coffee shops, supermarkets, everything around here. You are quite well taken care of. Okay, if you are looking at the train station would be slightly further away. You can still walk, but I believe it's a 15 minutes to 20 minutes walking distance. If not, if you were to take bus, right, you'll be 1 bus stop, 2 bus stop, 3 bus stop. About 3 bus stop, you would reach Pasir Ris Mall or the White Sands area, which will be your first MRT station, which is the East-West line. Okay. Something interesting to note, right, is they have another MRT station over here, which is the Cross Island line. Okay, of course, I believe you can walk as well. If not, if you were to take a bus, right, you'll be around 3 to 4 bus stop. This is a game changer because the Cross Island line do bring you to many different areas, and it shortens the traveling time from Pasir Ris to other areas, specifically like Punggol area or the industrial area. Okay, so this is the Pasir Ris East MRT station. It's under construction. Expected completion is 2nd quarter 2028. So by the time Coastal Cabana is ready, the MRT station would be ready as well. So even though you are not within walking distance from MRT station, you're not that far off from 2 MRT station as well, making your transport or accessibility slightly more accessible, I would say. Okay. After our facts and location, we will be talking about the entry price. I'm trying to make this short because I've done quite a number of executive condo videos already. So by now, right, if you were to search back my past videos, I'm a firm believer of executive condo lah. And one thing for Coastal Cabana, which is back to why I like it, right? I feel that the entry price is very, very safe. It's if we take the past two new executive condo, which was launched about like 10 years ago, just look at the entry price over here for watercolors. Okay, this is one of the executive condo just right beside. The 3-bedroom is going for about 1.4 1.5 million ish. Okay, these are resale listing are 10 years old, and the 4-bedroom is going from like 1.6 million onwards. Okay, moving on, right, you have Sea Horizon, which I mentioned earlier. The 3-bedroom similarly is going from like 1.4 million onwards, and for their 4-bedroom, they are going around like 1.65, 1.78, all the way to $2.2 million. Mind you, this is a 10 years condo, and for Coastal Cabana itself, the prices for 3-bedroom, I do have to repeat myself, is starting from 1.4 million, and the 4-bedroom is starting from 1.6 million only, which makes the entry price very, very attractive. Okay, even though if you see that the floor plan, which we will go through later on, the size might appear slightly small because they are post-harmonized project. Okay, and the layout itself is more efficient than the older condo where they have bigger aircon ledge and they have big balconies, which are not quite usable or functional. Okay, moving on, we'll be talking about the exit strategy of Coastal Cabana or Pasir Ris as a whole. If you can see from this sort of article over here, there are 4 key strategies to rejuvenate Pasir Ris under the Remaking Our Heartland program. Okay, personally, I feel there's only one that will bring about more value in the future, or how the transformation might affect the capital value, which is new housing development, as you can see over here. Why so? Because the rest, I think they do add, but not so much as an injection, right, of new population in the area. Because as we all know, right, majority of the people that are buying condo, be it new launch or resales, are actually HDB upgrader. So new housing development do increase the demand, and as we all know, demand increase, price will increase as well. Okay, so if you were to look at the master plan, this is where Coastal Cabana is, and the few areas of injection of housing supply, right, this would be the HDB area, this would be new HDB, and this would be new HDB as well. Can you see how big all these plots are? Okay, and on top of that, you have a new housing area, which was just recently announced in a Straits Times article, that there will be more housing units over here. If I'm not wrong, it's about 8,000 to 10,000 units, but I'll just paste the article here for your reference. And all these do form a huge bulk of your demand in the future when it MOP, because, right, all the projects over here are at least 5 to 10 years old. So 5 years later, if you add another 5 to 10 years to all the older projects, they'll be around 10 to 15 years old already, whereas the new kid on the block is still relatively new. Okay, so on top of that, you have this cross island line, which I talked about earlier during the location brief, that will save you a lot of time, right, traveling to different areas of Singapore. So my assumption is this: if today it only takes me 10 minutes to get from one area to the other area, I do not mind exploring staying in a more affordable area if the travel distance is not too far. Just for example, if today I'm going to travel to Hougang, okay, in the past, if I need to travel to Hougang to work and I stay in Pasir Ris, it will take me 40 minutes. I might not want to stay in Pasir Ris because I feel that this 40 minutes is time wasted. But because of the new cross island line, it saved me 20 minutes and it only takes me 20 minutes of traveling distance. I don't mind buying in Pasir Ris, where it is more affordable, and travel to Hougang to work. Okay, vice versa lah. But of course, Hougang, the prices, because it's a mature estate with more amenities, the prices are much higher. Okay, but you get my point. You do have a clear exit strategy over here for Coastal Cabana. Not saying that it's the strongest, but it is not weak as well. Okay, and one thing interesting when I was doing my research is my question, which I'll pose to you. Tampines being a mature estate, right, and Pasir Ris being a more ulu area, which will have a higher volume of transaction on a year-to-year basis. Because one thing when I was pitching this project to some of my clients, they are all worried, right? There will be no demand for the private condos in the particular area, Pasir Ris lah. But if you look at this chart, which I did up earlier, right? It's a 10 years chart. The volume, right? Orange color is Pasir Ris, blue color is Tampines. Okay, mind you, Tampines is a more mature estate. But if you look, right, the area that seems to have the more number of transaction on a year-to-year basis, right, is actually Pasir Ris. Is it because it is more affordable? So in a similar area, if people are looking at Tampines, they do not mind looking at Pasir Ris as well. And if Pasir Ris is like 100,000-200,000 cheaper, right, they can actually use the money to buy a car and it solve all the transportation issue. Okay, so this is just some food for thoughts. Because similarly for me as well, if I'm considering to buy Revel, I actually don't mind taking a look at Coastal Cabana because I know Revel will be more expensive. Okay? We have touched on the facts, the entry price, the exit strategy for Coastal Cabana. Let's move on to the floor plan analysis. As you all know, they are starting from the 3-bedroom, and the smallest 3-bedroom is actually 872 square feet. Okay, nothing particular that I will say will stand out, other than because they are all corner unit, right? You do have windows ventilation throughout. Okay, one thing interesting I will note is even this corridor area, they have a window here, which makes this place slightly brighter and windier, especially when you are near to the sea. You do have the sea breeze, but everything is very prim and proper. And one thing which for Chinese, if they like, right, is when they come in, they do not want to see all the way out to the balcony because they say this is like your wealth flowing outwards. Okay, and they do have a home shelter as well. So very, very prim and proper, 872 square feet. I believe this would be the cheapest unit at 1.42 million or 1.43 million, which is very, very, very attractive. Okay, next one, slightly bigger, is the 915 square feet unit. Okay, they have two 915 square feet unit. The show unit, which you will see in the showroom, right, is the 915 flexi 3-bedder. The difference over here, right, okay, do take note, is the study area. Okay, you see the difference. Okay, maybe I'll just highlight. Highlighting is easy. Okay, first is you would see is this is the study area for the one with no flexi. This is the study area for the one with flexi. Okay, so obviously the one with flexi, you have a bigger study area, okay, as compared to this 鸟不生蛋的 study which I feel don't really make sense But where it also differ, right, because if the study is so big, the size will be taken up from somewhere else is actually, okay, let's highlight the kitchen area. Okay, if you see over here, right, this kitchen is smaller because you have a washer basin, right, over here, like 水 and 火 fire and water over here. So some Chinese do not like this arrangement. Feng Shui reason again, 水火不容. Okay, but this, right, you have it separate, one over here and one over here. And on top of that, you have an additional WC with a bigger yard area. Okay, so depending on your family needs, because if you're like me, I don't cook, I would rather prefer a study area because it makes more sense to me. I do not need such a big kitchen when I spend less than 5% of my time in the kitchen. So go down and have a look and see whether a small kitchen is suitable for you, because the kitchen over for the 3-room and flexi is really not that big. Okay, one other thing to highlight for all the units in Coastal Cabana, right, is the areas where they have a slightly lighter shade for the wall, right, they are actually hackable. Which is something I have mentioned in all my other videos. I like it when you can hack walls and make living room or bedroom even bigger than what it is, because nowadays the family size is really not that big anymore. Okay, so same, because it's a corner unit, everything is very, very well ventilated for the bathroom, for the kitchen, and even for the living. Okay, next would be the smallest 4-bedroom classic type. Same thing, coming in, you do not face the balcony. Good for Chinese, good for feng shui. Okay, you have a proper kitchen over here. leading up to a small yacht, WC, and a home shelter. Okay, one thing about this is the size is smaller. Okay, because if you were to compare this 915, this is 990. This is where they have a smaller 4-bedroom. Okay, this is really small because you see they already put this single bed right at the corner of the wall already, and you only have this small space left. Very good for you if you do not have a huge family size, and this can be like a proper study for you. So I will call this like a 3+ study instead of a 4-bedroom classic lah. Okay? Wall-to-wall distance is not huge, but then again you can hack the wall over here to make it a 3-bedroom, and you have a very huge living area. Okay, nothing much to here. The rest are pretty standard, and same thing, you have windows as well. Okay, next will be the slightly bigger one. I feel the slightly bigger 4-bedroom at 1,000 square feet is slightly better design. Okay, then again, do take note, this room is still smaller than this 2-room because this bedroom itself is already touching the wall already. Okay, so size differ 1,012 square feet and the previous 990 square feet. I would say this is the common room is the main difference lah. Okay, and for the slightly bigger 4-bedroom premium, okay, it's the dry kitchen area. So the living and dining area would be much bigger than the area over here. Okay, then again, it really depends on your ballot number, because for a 30 square feet difference, if you're going around 1,000, 6,000, 7 PSF, it will not be too much of a stretch in terms of loan and down payment lah. Okay. Okay, 4-bedroom, they have more variations, and they have the 4-bedroom premium plus study. So this is the 1,216 square feet and this is the 1,163 square feet. Okay, both are similar. The difference is for the 1,216 square feet unit, right? There's an additional balcony in the master bedroom. Okay, that is the only difference. Other than that, size, this would be the biggest, because just now, as I mentioned, right? Look at the 4-bedroom. This is not touching the wall, so you have enough for 2 side table. So for the 4-bedroom plus study, 4-bedroom premium plus study, there's also 2 types, but the only difference, right, is around 50 square feet is in the balcony area. The rest are pretty similar, and one thing which I like about this 4-bedroom premium, right, is this wall over here, right? You can actually hack and you can build a door over here, the door, so that your master is huge. Okay, so that your master is huge. If it were up to me, I would do that lah. Okay, or if not, I can make this into like a walk-in wardrobe. Just some ideas. I hack away this, I hack away this, I hack away this. So this entire place is big, and I make this right into like a even L-shaped wardrobe or a walk-in wardrobe. But of course, I will build a door over here lah. Okay, just some creative ideas to share. And lastly, you have the 5-bedroom. Okay, first thing first. From the 4-bedroom onwards, right? Something I feel a bit sayang is I wish that there were more bathroom, because if you look at the 4-bedroom premium plus study, 4-bedroom premium study, they have a WC over here, they have a WC over here, but they do not have a third proper bathroom, which is a bit of a bummer lah. Because I feel if I'm a family buying a 4-bedroom, most likely my family size would be 4 or 5 packs. Okay, and if you only have one common bathroom, right, to share amongst 3-bedroom, right, during peak hours, it will be quite congested lah. And I really don't like the feeling of going into a steamy and heaty toilet. I usually need it to be like at least air and dry, but that's personal preference. But I still feel that they could have done a third bathroom. Okay, moving on, this is the last 4-bedroom premium flexi. So if you notice, right, the 4-bedroom premium, right, there's a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different layout, and room size are about the same. The only difference is where they place the study and the kitchen area only. If you're someone that likes a very big and spacious living room area, right, that is horizontal, so when you come in, it looks very grand and very 大气. This last one is the one for you, because if you remember earlier on, right, the 4-bedroom premium flexi, the 1,216 square feet one, right, they have a balcony in the master bedroom area, which some people will prefer, some people don't prefer. But for this last one, right, they actually combine the master bedroom balcony into the living room. So the wall-to-wall distance, right, because this is a flexi area, right, okay, let me highlight. because this is a flexi area. The developers actually never built any wall over here. Okay, so you can actually put your sofa set over here, an L shape, and your projector or TV over here, and this area would be very, very huge. Okay, this would be very nice if you host a lot, or if you don't spend a lot of time in the master bedroom lah. Other than that, all the other thing remains the same. Okay, kitchen is slightly different lah. You have a dry kitchen over here, and you walk into a more long and vertical kitchen area. But this would be very impressive when you come home and you look out, over here. Because this is the premium, I believe this would have the sea view as well. Okay, and the last of which would be this 5-bedroom layout at 1376 square feet. Okay, it's really very huge. All the rooms over here are the same size as your 4-bedroom. Only the 5th bedroom is slightly smaller. You can see that it's touching the wall. And for one of the bedroom itself, right, the developer purposely didn't build a cabinet over here. So it's like a flexi room. If you don't want, you can hack away this wall to integrate with the living, making it even bigger. Or this you can convert into a study lah. Okay. One thing which I feel could be done better is instead of the toilet joining side by side, why they didn't choose to open the door here so they can make this into like junior master. And they can even put a toilet in between here, right? So that is a Jack and Jill concept. So I would say, all in all, for Coastal Cabana, the floor plan, right, nothing really stands out as much as Oriole of Tampines, but it is still very, very functional. I think the game plan for the developer is they built some relatively smaller 4-bedroom units and 3-bedroom units to make the size and the entry price more affordable, but there would be some compromise, because at the end of the day, a 4-bedroom is still a 4-bedroom, okay, even at 990 square feet. It's just whether you need that additional 4th bedroom or 5th bedroom to be as huge as the other bedroom elsewhere. Okay, so that is it for my video on Coastal Cabana. Once again, my name is Sherwin. This project is launching 6th of December all the way to 21st December. The balloting would be done in January, open balloting concept, which is something slightly different, so there's a delay. And the prices for executive condo would be very transparent. Okay, so if you're interested to view this executive condo or the next one upcoming reval, do reach out to me so I can assess your eligibility and check you in for the show flat registration. That's it for my video. Do remember to like, share and subscribe.